we're all still really grieving. Yeah, we all thought he'd be with us longer than this.
22-year-old Simon Minson suffered from cystic fibrosis, but more than anything wanted to live a normal life.
He'd always wanted to go to Vietnam with his mates. That had been a kind of dream of his.
A week before, he was quite sick, like he'd come down with a typical head cold that everybody gets, but affected him more, of course.
A week into Simon's trip, his health rapidly declined.
He ended up going from one day walking around Ho Chi Minh City with his mates to, within a couple of days, requiring oxygen.
He just continued to deteriorate to the point where in the end he said, "I know that this is the end."
He was at peace with the idea that this was it.
Even though we weren't.
Cystic fibrosis is a life-threatening disease, and a child is born with CF in Australia every 4 days. The genetic disorder causes mucus build-up in the lungs, airways and digestive system, and over time results in irreversible lung damage. There is no cure, and sufferers rarely live past their 30s. Simon was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis at just 6 weeks old.
Your whole life is turned on its head. You almost go through grieving, and yet you shouldn't be, because you've got this wonderful little baby, and yet you're grieving for what might happen.
Treatment of CF is lifelong and relentless. Simon spent his life taking handfuls of tablets each meal, having physio twice a day and spending long stints in hospital.
Through his teenage years, he had some fairly serious bouts of depression, and sometimes the only thing that would get him through would be being off to the footy club where people didn't see him as this kid with the illness.
I think most people around the club would remember him as someone that always was smiling, always positive, always took every day as it came, and we got a message through that he'd passed away, and it did really hit the footy club extremely hard.
Because of Simon's condition, he couldn't get travel insurance, and the family was left with medical bills of nearly $100,000.
A few of the players got together and said, "What can we do? Can we do something to help the family and raise some funds or do something?"
And help they did, rallying together to raise some cash and say goodbye to a mate.
Simmo's one of those people who you'd never forget. Even if you met him once, you'd never forget meeting him ever. And I reckon most of the people he has met are here tonight. It's just amazing.
He's just one of those really nice guys. He was always willing to put his hand out, and that's why everyone's sort of jumped on board and come down tonight, and more importantly, dug deep for his family.
The amount of people that have turned up to support the cause has been fantastic. We had a goal of 100,000. We'd be way above that.
Thanks to the generosity of the small community, the medical costs were covered, and the rest of the money raised will go towards helping find a cure for the disease that took Simon's life so suddenly.
To have all these people just respond the way they have, it just takes it to another level, I guess. It makes us incredibly proud of him.
Very proud, and he's definitely touched a lot of lives.